I remember the exact moment I stopped opening my credit card statements. I was 22, sitting on my bed, phone in hand, thumb hovering over the notification. The number I owed had grown again. I could see it in the preview without even opening it, so I didn't open it. I swiped it away, turned my phone face down, and just like that, the debt stopped existing. At least in my head. I told myself I'd deal with it when I had more money. When things settled down, when I felt ready. I waited 2 years. Nobody teaches 20-somethings how money actually works. That's what we're here for. This is Stacking 20. Now let me take you back to where this started. I was 21 when I got my first credit card. I didn't really understand how it worked. Nobody sat me down and explained interest rates, minimum payments, or what it actually meant to carry a balance. All I knew was that it gave me access to money I didn't have yet. And at 21, that felt like freedom. The first few months were fine. Small purchases, things I told myself I needed, a new pair of shoes, a laptop charger, dinner when I was short before payday. But slowly, the way these things always happen slowly, the balance started climbing. At first, it was manageable, a few hundred. Something I could theoretically pay off if I just had one good month. But that one good month never came. And instead of facing it, I did what felt easiest at the time. I looked away. Here is what nobody tells you about ignoring debt. It doesn't wait for you. Every single month that I avoided that notification, avoided that statement, avoided even thinking about the number, the balance was growing. Not because I was adding to it, though sometimes I was, but because of something called interest. The bank was charging me a percentage of what I owed every single month, just for the privilege of owing it. I didn't really understand that at 22. I thought if I stopped using the card, the problem would sort of pause, stay where it was until I was ready to deal with it. That's not how debt works. Debt is alive. It breathes. It grows in the dark whether you're watching it or not. And the minimum payment, that small, manageable number, the bank helpfully put at the bottom of every statement that wasn't paying off my debt. That was barely covering the interest. The actual balance underneath? Almost untouched. I thought I was managing it. I wasn't. I was feeding it. Every month, I made the minimum payment and felt like I'd handled it. I was actually just keeping the debt alive and giving it more time to grow. 2 years of that. 24 months of minimum payments, a handful of new charges, and compound interest doing exactly what it was designed to do. By the time I finally opened the app and looked at the real number, I almost couldn't believe it. I didn't choose to face it. It forced me. I needed to apply for something, a rental apartment, a phone plan, something that required a basic credit check. And the person on the other end of that process looked at my file and said the number out loud. My credit score. It was low, much lower than I expected. Low enough to be a problem. I went home and finally opened the app I had been avoiding for 2 years. The balance I owed was almost double what I remembered borrowing. I sat with that for a long time. Double. Not because I had been reckless, not because of one big purchase I regretted, just because of 2 years of looking away while interest quietly, patiently doubled my problem. That was the moment I understood that ignoring debt is not a neutral choice. Ignoring debt is a decision, and it has a price. I want to be honest with you about what fixing this actually looked like. It wasn't fast. It wasn't a magic strategy or a secret trick. It was slow, uncomfortable, and it required me to do the one thing I had been avoiding for 2 years. Look at the number. Really look at it. Understand it. Stop pretending it would sort itself out. Here is what I actually did. The first thing I did was get clear on the full picture. I opened every account. I wrote down every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment. I stopped letting the number live in a vague, scary place in the back of my mind and put it on paper where I could actually see it. That alone, just naming it, made it feel less like a monster and more like a problem I could solve. The second thing I did was stop making only minimum payments. Minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt for as long as possible. I calculated exactly how long it would take to pay off my balance, paying only the minimum. The answer shocked me into action. Instead, I added whatever extra I could to each payment. Even a small amount extra every month cuts years off your debt and saves you a significant amount in tears. The third thing I did was stop using the card entirely while I paid it down. Not forever, just until the balance was gone. I took the card out of my wallet, out of my online accounts, out of easy reach, out of sight, out of temptation. None of these steps were complicated. What made them hard wasn't the strategy, it was the willingness to stop looking away. Once I faced it, the debt stopped growing, and then, slowly, it started shrinking. It took me 18 months to pay it off completely. 18 months of being intentional, of choosing extra payments over convenience purchases, of watching a number I once refused to look at get smaller and smaller every single month. The day the balance hit zero, I genuinely sat there and stared at it, not because it was dramatic, but because I remembered sitting in that same spot 2 years earlier, swiping away the notification like it wasn't real. It was always real. What changed wasn't the debt. What changed was me. My willingness to look at hard things directly instead of hoping they'd disappear on their own. Here's what I know now that I wish someone had told me at 22. Debt doesn't punish you for borrowing. It punishes you for hiding. The moment you stop hiding, the moment you actually look, is the moment it starts losing its power over you. Nobody teaches 20-somethings how money actually works. Not our schools, not our parents, not our jobs. But if any part of this story sounded familiar, if you have a number you've been avoiding, a notification you've been swiping away, a balance you haven't looked at in longer than you'd like to admit, I want you to know something. You are not behind. You are not hopeless. You are just not looking yet. Open the app, write down the number. That's it. That's step 1. Drop a comment and tell me, do you have a debt you've been avoiding? You don't have to share the number. Just say yes. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. Next week, we're following someone who got their first real salary and spent it all in 60 days. Trust me, you'll want to see how that one ends. See you then. Keep stacking.